Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. This 4 o'clock hour. DeSoto safety Devin Bobby will join us today at 4:30. Former Oklahoma All-American, former Cowboys and Falcons, I think Jets defensive lineman and part of the Big 12 Network, and Tony Casillas at 4:45. We're now joined by former Baylor all-conference linebacker and NFL linebacker, waiting for a phone call at this particular time, and Bryce Hager on SicEm365 Radio. David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak. Bryce, great to have you on. You are enjoying, you told me this a little bit, just kind of chilling a little bit, decompression with the family time. What's that like?
Yeah, I'm out here in Austin just hanging out with my 2 girls and my wife and just taking it easy, just working out and going day by day right now.
Bryce, how much did this last year, affect guys who are free agents like you, and that, maybe free agency wasn't the same after as it would have been, a year ago? And what are you working on right now as it comes to maybe waiting out camps to start?
Last year actually kind of helped out free agents like me, just for the fact that rookies weren't able to go to OTAs. They weren't able to have that time with those coaches before training camp kicked off, and the way they did practice squad and increased the limit to 16 opposed to 10 and having vet guys able to join the practice squad, it actually helped me out and a lot of older vets out throughout the season. And so as of now, I'm just kind of treating it like a normal season, normal year, trying to get better at things I know I can get better at and staying strong.
Does it feel like you've already been in the league or playing pro football for 6 years now?
Looking back, yes and no. It's flying by, but certain moments, I'm like, dang, that seems like a long time ago. But because I was out in St. Louis, then we went out to California, then I was out in New Jersey last year. So we've been hopping around, but definitely flying by.
What's it like right now? You're enjoying that time, but you also still want to continue to play. What are the conversations like with your agent, and is it where it's just a matter of time where everyone gets to training camp when your phone starts to buzz?
Yeah, I was kind of in the same situation last year, like I said. I didn't get a call until August. I went to the Raiders training camp. I was there for a couple weeks, and then I had some workouts in the beginning of the season, and I signed with the Jets week 3. So I got a lot more attention as soon as training camp kicked off. So I'm just anticipating something like similar to that this year. And I have a lot of good relationships with coaches across the league that I've been in touch with. We'll just see how everything falls into play.
Going back to your time with the Rams, what was that like to be a part of a franchise moving from a city where they'd been for a long time in St. Louis back to a city where they had been previously, but with like a whole new feel in Los Angeles?
It was an exciting time, especially making that move from St. Louis to LA. Just going back to the city where they were there for so long. The fans were great out there. The atmosphere playing in the Coliseum was awesome. And I was actually lucky enough last year to be able to play in SoFi. When I was with the Jets, we actually played the Rams and the Chargers, so I got to play there twice last year for the first time, which was absolutely awesome. Seeing that stadium build when I was out there with the Rams and then actually getting to play in it was really surreal.
Bryce, when you look back at your time at Baylor, what are the memories that stick out most to you?
A lot of those memories are tied to a lot of the guys I met. I still keep in touch with a lot of those guys, the friendships I made. And it also didn't help that, it definitely helped that we were pretty good when I was there. So a lot of good memories come from the games we won, the Big 12 championships we won. And like I said, the guys I met I still am friends with today. So the friendships definitely.
You said you guys were pretty good when you were there. You won back-to-back Big 12 titles. You were damn good.
You know what? I actually saw a stat that somebody had put up earlier. They put the winningest teams in college football since 2010, and despite the fact that they've had a 1-win season and a 2-win season, Baylor still has more wins than Texas and like 75% of other programs. That's how good Bryce and them were in the early 2010s, that even with a 1- and 2-win season, they're still like top 30 in wins in the last decade. That's pretty cool.
What was that like, Bryce, to be a part of taking the football program to a completely different level?
It's actually pretty funny. There's a funny story about me and my dad before I committed to Baylor. I had just got off the phone with Coach Bryce, and I kind of knew that's where I wanted to go. But growing up my whole life, I was like, I want to go to Texas. I want to be a Longhorn. I want to do that. Follow my dad. And so Texas wasn't offering or any of that, but Coach Bryce called me on the phone pretty much every day, and I really liked what he was doing. And so he called me. I committed. Went upstairs and told my dad. He was like, "That's awesome, but just know that you probably will never go to a bowl game." So I guess the rest is history from then.
So what was the conversation like when you guys beat Texas to win a Big 12 championship?
I mean, obviously, my dad is super supportive, and he loved the fact that even getting to a Big 12 championship and able to play and those kind of games, he was super supportive, and obviously just wanted best for me. And if we won, great, and if his team won, just as good. I mean, so he was always supportive, and it was always fun, friendly, loving competition in that regard. I
just think it's great that that's the way it ended up after he makes that comment initially, and then there you are playing Texas for a Big 12 title. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool how it ended up.
I know. So I think at the time, Baylor didn't go to a bowl game in 17 years, and that's before my first year when we went to the Texas Bowl in Houston, and that was the first one we've been to, and 16, 17 years. I can't remember the exact number, but it's been a while, so that's why he made that comment.
Have you successfully thought out from that Big 12 championship that you won over Texas? Because I think, given the freeze this year, we might have just bumped up. Because it took me until maybe yesterday to get over that, how cold it was that day.
Oh, I know. It was crazy, but I didn't actually get to play in that game. I actually ended up tearing my groin 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, and I wasn't able to play in that game, which was unfortunate. But I was there cheering on those guys.
They've had the 11-win season with Coach Rule's third year, and now they're trying to rebuild again. And your thoughts? How much do you pay attention to what Baylor's doing now since you left Baylor to go to the NFL?
I was involved a lot with watching Coach Rule and the way he ran the program. I thought he did a great job. Last year was a little bit tricky just because of scheduling and how everything played out last year, so I didn't keep up as well. But I really like what he's doing. I like the guys he's bringing in, and so I try to keep up to date best as I can. I have a good buddy who kind of sends me all the alerts and kind of keeps me up to date, and so I pretty much get all my news through him. So, but this year, with everything going back to normal, I'll be a little bit more involved with all that. Definitely want to make it out to a game. I haven't been out to one in a long time, so that's one of my goals in the next few years.
Well, hopefully you'll have something you're doing on the weekends that keeps you from coming to the games, but at the same time.
That's right. That's why. So hopefully a couple of years I'll swing by, and by that time I can be a season ticket holder, go to all the home games.
Well, we'd love to see you there, and when you're in town, let us know. Bryce, you mentioned you kind of went through this free agency thing last year. Is it unnerving in any way, or is it kind of almost where someone's going to pick up the phone and call you because of just the way things are with attrition?
That, and the older you get in the league, kind of gets to that, especially a guy like me who's kind of just a special teams guy like that. And the season, they just changed the rule this season. They added another game, and there's always injuries. There's always things that happen that you can't predict. And so I know I'll end up getting a call. It's just a matter of when. So that's why I'm just trying to stay in shape and ready if it's the first of training camp or if it's the first week of the season. So we'll just see how it goes.
So you have those 2 young children. What's that like?
They're 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So they're just all over the place, and it's full hands on deck every day.
Full hands on deck. So what's
tougher, playing in the NFL?
Yeah, what's more difficult, the NFL collisions or trying to wrap up a 1 and a 2.5-year-old?
I don't know. My 2-year-old is pretty fast. I'll try to get her from the playground when it's time to go home. She wins me pretty good. So, it's a pretty neck and neck right there.
So just lateral side to side movement like linebackers have to have. She's got you beat.
Yeah, it's looking like that. She's pretty athletic for a 2-year-old. looks like she'll probably get in soccer here in a couple months. She loves doing that.
What is Brecken doing these days?
Brecken is, have you seen that movie, 12 Mighty Orphans, that just came out recently?
He's in that. That's exactly right.
So he's kind of doing trying to do a little bit of acting. He's starting to do a little film project with him and his buddy and my dad, actually. They started a little company, so they've been trying to work on that for the last year with getting movie scripts and raising money for stuff like that. So, yeah, that was kind of his first thing into the movie world. He did that, and there was another movie that was in Sundance. I can't remember the name of it that he was in this year, too. So he's kind of just playing around with that.
Have you seen 12 Mighty Orphans?
I have not, but I've been trying to make a point to go see it.
You know, we had one of the guys on, Paul, I forgot the name of the person we had on, but one of the producers or directors, and he was actually a part of the film too, as a player. I was able to watch it on my way to Florida 2 or 3 weeks ago. It is really, really good. There's no question about it. I remember that. Brecken's name came out on the crawl.
By the way, just look.
That's what I've heard. I'm trying to make a point to see it, but if I don't get it to the theaters, I'm definitely going to rent it as soon as it comes out.
By the way, he's got 6 credits on IMDb. I mean, how many of those are, like stuff that you would have seen? I don't know, but there's a movie called The Blazing World that also comes out this year.
Yeah, The Blazing World, that's the one that was submitted to Sundance this year. And my dad was actually a producer of that.
When did your father start? What was that always an interest of his or what?
No, it really just started over the pandemic when kind of everything was shut down. Him and Brecken kind of just got together and kind of made this little business and had some connections through LA and my older brother Braun, and they kind of tied everything together, and he just found an interest for it, and he's actually doing pretty good at it right now.
How often did you and Brecken talk when you were in the NFL and he was at Texas?
I mean, being a college student, you kind of hard to get a hold of him. So whenever he'd get the chance, we'd talk a little bit, but really never really about football though. Like we would talk a little bit about football, but kind of like when the family's together, football's not really a topic.
Right.
It's just, so.
But
yeah, I see him all the time. He's down here in Austin, so I get to see him a lot more now, which is nice.
He's got that Hollywood kind of a feel to him. And he could be, you know what? He could be a professional wrestler as well. I think he has that look there too.
I know. He's not one of those body types. He can go work out for 2 weeks and be ripped up again. I'm like, how the hell did he do that? Like, he doesn't work out for 6 months. He hits the gym for a week or so, and he's back to freaking playing shape.
Don't you hate that? I mean, that's not fair. Right. What's your body like after these years? Craig asked you about it. What did you now that you've been in the league long enough and you've been through enough games and seasons? What's it like? How are you physically?
Good physically. The only kind of setback I had was what was it? 2019. It was against the Bucks. I tore my labrum and had some kind of little nerve issue in my left shoulder. And I was put on IR that season. It was like week 5 or 6. And so I missed 2019, and I was able to get surgery that following January, and I was able to play this last 2020 season. So pretty much just my shoulder, and everything else is holding up pretty good.
Yeah, it's a crazy, violent, tough physical game, mentally and physically. We're proud of what you've done. Good luck. Hope you get a call here pretty soon. Hopefully you'll be at a training camp and also get another year in the NFL. And thanks for your time.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me on, and let me know whenever you guys want me back.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce Hager, former Baylor All-American linebacker, part of those Big 12 championship teams. Mentioned that he was with St. Louis and then L.A., the Rams, also with the Raiders for a little bit, and then spent time with the Jets and now waiting for that call.
Do we have a little bit of time here?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. We got about
well,
6,
for
7
one,
minutes.
man, what a massive glow up that is. St. Louis to Los Angeles. I mean, St. Louis does not seem like the greatest place to live these days. And L.A., probably not either, but I'd much rather be out on the West Coast. So that was a nice little upgrade for him as a Ram. But I'm, referencing to him during that and to you guys, this list that came out, and it's from the same site that, does like random things every day, and I don't even know what the basis for it is. This one actually has facts behind it, though. It's not like best campus and voted on by me. And, this is actually win totals. So, yeah, Baylor, by my count, is 32nd or 33rd in win totals since 2010. 32nd or 33rd. They've had 85 wins, and that's the same amount that K-State's had. That's more than U of H. That's more than Miami. That's more than like 75% of the entire college football world. And that's with a 2-win season and a 1-win season. So that goes to show you they're only 8 wins off of TCU's total. I mean, that goes to show you that, it's been up and down, but there's been more up than down, that's for sure. The amount of programs behind them in the Big 12 alone, Iowa State, Tech, pretty much everybody other than like Oklahoma, they are in front of when it comes to the Big 12, and maybe Oklahoma State as well, and TCU. Other than that, they're right there.
Yeah, the only difference between TCU and the rest of those programs is that when TCU has a down year, it's not all a catastrophic down.
Yeah, it's like 6 wins.
Yeah.
It's not 2.
Or barely missing a bowl. Yeah, that kind of thing. They kind of hang around. Yep.
So the top wins, obviously, Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, OU. Who do you think's number 5? Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, OU. Top 5 wins since 2010. They're not a Power 5.
Not a Power 5. UCF.
Boise State.
That's my next guess.
Yeah, Boise State's still in that mix, huh?
UCF's like 12 or 13 on here. They got 94 wins, but Boise State, Georgia, LSU, blah, blah, blah. It's the teams that you would expect. Stanford is up there like top 10, which is kind of surprising, but I bet they've been consistently good. But, I just expected Baylor to be like on the second half of this. But no, they're borderline top 20 or borderline top 30.